Behind the scenes, want to know what's more impactful for the future? Is it epigenetics or is it non-locality? That's a tough one. That's a tough one. Is it epigenetics or non-locality? And how do they affect one another? When you think about it, the only thing you can be sure of is that your body is your own. Everything else is a projection. I mean, even your feet technically is projection, but because of the because of the fact that your nerves are all connected to your spinal cord and your brain, your body is just as much your brain as is your brain, so to speak. So consider that. And epigenetics is the science of the body and how it changes ongoing. Your genetic makeup, your genes, your code. You think about it, who you are changes every single day. You're a different person because cells, who your body's made up of is a bunch of cells. Even in your brain, your body's made up of a bunch of cells. Millions and millions and millions of cells in your brain that make up who you are, in your body that make up who you are. And they're constantly dying and being born and dying and being born and dying and being born constantly every single day. Every so many years it's a new heart. Every so many years it's a new liver. Every so many years it's a new, femur bone or whatever bone. Different bones and different body parts and organs. It takes a certain amount of time, but after so many iterations of time, through the passage of time, it changes. And the genetic code changes each time they live and die. They get new genetic code. Each time that they live throughout their short life, these individual cells carry genetic code. And the environment, the air you're breathing, is it polluted air? Is it clean air? It makes a difference to your epigenetic state. Not just in your lungs, but in your entire body. The epigenetic state of what's going on in your intestines as well, because the entire body, all of those cells that are being born, dying, all of those cells are made up of what? The food that you eat. They're made up of the food that you eat. So what food are you eating? That's what your body's made of. Literally. That's your superpower. I watched this, like my superpower is that I could turn food into human flesh, the human body. And you can do it too. We both do it unconsciously. We don't have to think about it at all. And it's a pretty miraculous thing. Talk about everyday life being miraculous, having gratitude. Gratitude's one is core value 4. And having gratitude for things like indoor plumbing, automobiles. Wasn't so long ago, if you wanted to send a letter from New York to California or the East Coast to the West Coast, it'd take about 2 weeks or two or 3 weeks. It was just a series of people who would ride on horse very fast, and if you wanted to send a message, that was literally the fastest way. And then there was Telegram, and then there was a whole bunch of other stuff, and eventually the internet, where you can, have a phone call, live stream, video from millions of people all at the same time. Now, that's a pretty miraculous thing. Technology. I mean, in terms of miracle or magic, that's all technology really is, because Arthur C. Clarke said that a sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. And what type of technologies are we going to be creating in this non-local universe? I don't know. I don't know. I guess the answer would have to be non-locality. But epigenetics is huge. And the only reason I talk so much more about epigenetics is because it's something that more and more people will be able to actually understand. I feel like, you all YouTube subscribers, you guys can actually understand non-locality a little bit if you dig into it, watch the the more in-depth stuff, and on my website specifically. But otherwise, you know, non-locality could probably change the world a little more, but it's just difficult to understand, and it's difficult for all of us to understand how physics would fit into that, because I still drive an automobile that operates through those principles of physics. I still get on an airplane that operates by way of those principles of physics. The pipes in my house have still been soldered by a process that's, non-locality is something that in literally less than 15 years ago that we learned of non-locality. Less than 15 years ago. In this century, in the after 2000, that we learned about non-locality. And it's leaving a massive print. It's leaving a massive imprint upon the way we live our lives. But I think epigenetics is more likely to be commonplace. Like I think epigenetics is like the household name, like the household catchphrase for the next 50 years. The household catchphrase for the next 50 years. Epigenetics.